Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. A couple updates. We've actually now changed the channel's name. So it was Mark's Book Blog, which is my name, Mark with a C. But now it's Bookmark. Get it? Like book and then mark, but with a C. And I was like trying to think about this because I like that a lot and it's like a perfect play on words. But then basically, I was trying to figure out if I wanted to do like lowercase, all of it lowercase, or like uppercase B and then uppercase M to emphasize the play on words, or like uppercase B and then just the rest lowercase. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyways, right now it's all lowercase, and I tried to change it to uppercase, but I can't because I think you have to wait 2 weeks. So that's what it is right now. So new channel name, yay! And that's it for that update. And I had another one, but I don't remember what I was gonna say. Great, okay. March, this is the March wrap-up video. And it's kind of shifted a little. And here's why. Or should I just, I'm gonna tell you first. Because initially, if you watched my previous video, which is a February TBR, oh my gosh, wait, this is not a March wrap-up video. This is a February TBR video, but it's coming out in March. That makes more sense. Oh, I remembered my update. Okay, so I feel like the way I make my videos is just kind of like if you were there, you know, because I don't want to just be like talking to you or like talking at you. I kind of want to feel like this is a conversation and we're best friends and you're here and you're just doing stuff and I'm there and I'm just talking to you. So they're chaotic, but this is like how I am. This is just how I am in real life. So this is why these videos are like this. And I feel like I could edit these parts out, but like I prefer not to. I just think it's more funnier because I'm hilarious. But I was saying that in February, I did this thing where I did a TBR jar and I picked prompts from that jar. And then I chose books based off of those prompts because I was trying to read more books off my TBR. And let's not talk about the fact that I bought like 5 new books, but that's fine. No more anymore for now. So I was starting off that like TBR for February with those prompts. But then I stopped because I realized that I don't read a lot of Christian books and I feel like I want to read more Christian books or I want to read more faith-based books. So I paused my fiction books for now and I started reading more Christian books. And I read a lot less this month, but I'm not mad about it because I don't really like to set a goal any year. I just have to put one on Goodreads just so it like lets me. But I feel like I'm gonna try and read more of my Christian books, more of my Bible, more of that really good fun stuff. And that's not to say that fiction's bad. It's not. I feel like I can benefit more from my Christian books and my Bible. So I'm trying to read more of those or incorporate those more into my daily life. But yeah, that's what we're doing here. That's not to say I didn't read any fiction. I did read some, but then as the month progressed, I kind of paused. So we're just gonna talk about the books I read. Starting with Malibu Rising. And this was my historical fiction book prompt. And if you don't know what this book's about, I like bought this book, but then I forgot what it was about. But I had an inkling. But basically it's about this like family of like, I think there's 4 of them. You already know that a fire is going to happen in this house. So it starts off with that, but then it goes back in time, but it's like the entire day. And you just learn about the lives of these siblings. I've never read a Taylor Jenkins Reid book before. I've always wanted to, but I just didn't because I don't know. I feel like overhyped authors, I don't like the hype. Like when it's too overhyped, I get nervous and I'm like, well, now I don't want to read it because everyone's liking it. But if I don't, well, why should I care, right? Anyways, but yeah, you follow the entire day and like before, there's a big party that happens and the fire happens, that's the party. But you follow the entire day and then as their lives go along, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of drama, there's a bit of mystery, there's just lots of family drama, but it also goes back in time to the siblings' parents and you see how they met, so there's a bit of romance in there as well. And honestly, this book shocked me because I did not expect to like it. I was like, this is gonna be boring. I don't care about this. I was invested. Like, I feel like I read this book and then a week after, I was still thinking about these characters because it is just so well written. And I kind of get the hype now because her writing style is really just amazing. She seamlessly moves into like character to character and like you realize it's happening, but it's not awkward at all. Like she does it so well and it's just amazing. And these characters just have my heart. Like Nina, please. I wish her the best. But Also, Carrie Soto is like a main, no, she's not a main character. She's a little character in this, and I guess now I know that because there's a book called Carrie Soto, that is that woman. Her name's literally Carrie Soto. But yeah, so that was fun, because I was like, wait, that name sounds familiar. And then now I know that it's her. And that's kind of interesting that she has her own story. But I have a thing about like people not writing about their own culture, and I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole other video. But yeah, this was great. I gave it 4 stars. It really shocked me. I really enjoyed it. And if you like historical fiction that doesn't really read like historical fiction, but reads more like family contemporary drama with romance, just messy lies, pick this up. This is fun. I think this is a fun summer read too. I did not read it in the summer, but I still got the summer vibes because they're also surfing. They love to surf. Yeah, it's just great. Okay, next book that I plan to read. I don't know the order actually. Let's just do this one. So this was The Echo Man. I think the prompt was to read a book that's been on your shelf for a while. And this is just about the serial killer who's like really, really graphic in the way that he kills people. Honestly, this was a DNF. And let me tell you why. Because actually, let me preface with this. I will be counting DNFs towards my reading goal. And if you don't like that, then I'm sorry, but that's my channel and it's my reading life. Because I already spent time into reading it and I got through halfway, I think, and I just could not read it. First of all, I don't know if it's the first chapter, but the very first pages like starts with like a sex scene. And I'm like, why? Why are you, like, this is, first of all, a mystery murder. Like, okay, why? To me, I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, I didn't expect to be reading about this. Like, that's something you would expect in a romance. But even romances don't start with that. So I was like, okay, well, first of all, like, are you serious? Whatever. Skimmed it, it's fine. But then it's like, you can tell that there's a romance coming, and I don't care for it in a book like this. But then, I feel like my reading tastes have really changed, because I used to enjoy, like, crime thrillers, but over the past year or two, I don't like them anymore. Like, I could not care less for a detective cop trying to figure out who the killer is. I don't know what's happening, but I don't care anymore. And it just feels really boring to read because you're getting the point of view of the killer, he's killing, and then you get in the point of view of the cop, and I'm sure it's connected somehow. There's like this complex thing going on, but I just really get bored. Like, so I was halfway into this, and I was like, I don't really want to read this anymore. And also, I could feel like the romance part starting to overtake the story, and I'm like, yeah. I wouldn't even call it romance because it's like weird. It's just, okay, I don't know. I'm just not going to spoil it, but yeah, this was not fun for me. I'm actually glad now that I have it off my shelf. It sucks though because everyone enjoyed this and like the ratings on Goodreads are really high. I could not do it. And I will say it reads very fast. So I was like flipping through these pages, but I couldn't get into it. So unhaul for me. Okay, this one I read on my iPad, and this is called The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. And if you haven't read Catherine Center's romances before, they're so good. Like, she writes sad books, but she's starting to write more rom-coms. She's written 3 so far, including this one. I don't think it's out yet. I think it's out in June or July. But the past 2 that I've read have been 4 stars and up for me. They're just really sweet, and they're clean, and they're funny, and I just love the way she writes. But this one is about this rom-com writer who's not really famous, and this actor, or no, he's a scriptwriter, and then he wants to write this rom-com, but it really sucks. So her friend, who's an agent for him, tells her, he's like, yeah, you need to help him because this man sucks at writing romance. So then she goes to help him, but then he doesn't know that she's coming to help him, and he doesn't really want her help. And then it's this whole thing, but then it's like, they start to like write together, and it's just fun. Like, okay, her books, like, they're funny, but why do I cry every single time I read one of her books? Like, I was not bawling, but I was crying. Like, I was crying. And I don't know what she does, but she just does it really well. And it's like the fine balance between romance and comedy and sadness, and you just love these characters so much. I can't. Like, her books are so good. Now, I will say, it does kind of get cheesy towards the end, but also you're reading a romance, so don't not expect that, because what's the point of reading romances if you don't like cheesiness? Like, when people comment on that stuff, I'm like, well, what do you think you were reading, a thriller? Like, they're not going to kill each other at the end. I mean, hey, they could, but that would be sad. But that's not going to happen in a romance. Like, you're going to get a happy ever after. Happily ever after. I gave this book 4.25 stars. I love these characters. I love the backstory. She just does it so well. And if you're new to rom-coms, or you're like, where do I start? Pick up one of her books. They're just brilliant, and they're funny. And if you don't like steam, pick them up, because not many authors don't do steam. Not many authors don't do this. Yeah? Is that what I said? Okay. Okay, so I'm not counting this one because I technically didn't read it, but I did say I was going to, and this is Ready or Not by, I don't even know her name, Kara Bastone. And this is a friends to lovers, I think it's best friend's brother. So he is her brother's best, is that brother's best friend? I don't really know, one of them. But basically, she's pregnant. Where is she? She's pregnant, and I didn't even read the plot, so I don't really know what's happening. But it's like that kind of trope. And I like bought it from Book of the Month, but then I was like, wait, is this steamy? Because I don't like steam. But also, I'm not gonna judge, but I don't want to read a steamy scene with a pregnant woman. Personally, I don't want that in my books. So I did not read it. And that's that for that one. I don't have anything to say about it. I didn't really read it. I didn't count it, but I'm just letting you know. Maybe you'll like that, but not me. This was probably the scariest book that I've read in this month. Probably my entire reading life. That's dramatic, but it might as well be, because this was the sci-fi prompt from the jar, and of course it was gonna get picked. Of course it was gonna get picked the first time I do this jar thing, because God is funny like that. So, Red Rising, very, very popular trilogy. It's supposed to be like Hunger Games in the sky, but then, I don't know. This is my first sci-fi book ever, also, so. And I didn't finish this. I went halfway into it. So, yeah. But what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that I stopped reading this book, but not because it was bad. That was when I was like, I'm gonna read more Christian books. So, Red Rising, I did read half of it. Now my thoughts. What are my thoughts on this book? I'm not gonna tell you because that would be spoiling it. But when I get back into reading this, I will let you know because I am halfway in. But what I will say is that I'm not hating it, right? I don't hate it as much as I thought I would. Like, I thought this was gonna bore me, but yeah, that's all I'm saying. The last book I read in February was A Hunger for God by John Piper. You don't know who John Piper is. He's this like really prolific author. He has like a website called Desiring God. His belief is Christian hedonism, so God is most satisfied in us when we are more desired in him. Something like that. I'm butchering it. But pretty much it's like, he's all about like satisfaction in Christ and like desiring God, hence the Desiring God website. And he's a pastor at this church, Bethlehem College. I don't know where that is. In the US, I think. But this is his book about fasting and prayer. I think this is a really good book to read, especially in this time, because Lent is coming up. Not Lent is coming up. It is Lent. And we fast from things. So this is really nice to read. And his writing is so, like, he's so smart. He's so well-knowledge that sometimes I read stuff and I'm like, what does that say? Like one sentence, I have to read like 4 times. So that was like one of the only things about this book that where I was like, well, that's not really his fault. Maybe I'm just stupid. But his writing is so dense, is what I want to say. I really like this book. I just feel like some things in this was like, not necessary, but I didn't feel like were applicable to kind of the season. But it's not really about the season. It's just about fasting and prayer in general. But it talks about like, what is fasting? And like, why should Christians fast? Or should Christians fast? And is it a Christian belief? And then it talks about when Jesus was fasting in the wilderness. So that was really good to read. I really liked the insight into that. But this is a great book. I mean, I highly recommend it if you're not only a Christian, but if you're just wondering more about what fasting is and like why Christians do it. Very knowledgeable. I tabbed a couple pages. But yeah, I would highly recommend this book. I'm filming this after I filmed my video because I realized I didn't do this little picture at the end. So yeah, like this is not that important, right? But I feel like it's like the thing to do because everyone does this at the end of their videos. Maybe people don't, but essentially this is why I'm refilming, because I didn't do this. Because I filmed another video and I was like, wait, did I do that in the other video? I didn't. But yeah, these are the books I read and didn't. Okay, that is the entire video. I'm not gonna do a March TBR because I'm still trying to read more Christian books, but I'm just gonna probably do another video. I might film another video right after this. So if you see me wearing the same sweater 2 videos in a row, this is why. I'm prefacing. If you haven't watched this video, then you don't know why. But I'm assuming you'll assume that this was the reason. Anyways, that's all for me. I hope that you liked this video. I hope that you got some good recommendations. I hope that you are reading. If not, that's okay. Why am I doing this? Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you want to read these books, or any of your favorite books that you've read so far in the year. Thank you for tuning in, And I will see you next time. Bye.